I was talking to this one girl that I brought over to the crib, to the apartment in Sao Paulo. And I told her straight the fuck up. I couldn't hold it. I'm like, girl, you're beautiful. And she was like, what? Me? I'm beautiful. I'm like, yeah, you're beautiful. Like, some of these girls don't understand their own worth. And that's because they're surrounded by other beautiful women that are just as beautiful as them or maybe more beautiful. So because of that, they don't feel like anything special. But if you took that girl and you put her over here in the tri-state area, she would stick out.
Hey, Jamie Woods, we here to travel and motivate. No curry, we just trying to keep our minds in a golden state. We answer to nobody but the Lord, we control our fate. Too many things to see just to sit in a hole and bake. We growing, ayy.
Or a couple cool facts about Brazil. Brazil has the highest population of Japanese people outside of Japan. Brazil has the highest population of black people.
You talk about like the highest population of black people outside of the continent of Africa, right?
Yes, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's accurate.
There's a thing out there in Brazil that's called Portunhol. Like, a lot of the locals say Portunhol, which is basically when you mix up Portuguese and Spanish together. And that's what I spoke out there, what most Latinos, or I wouldn't say Latinos because Brazilians are also Latinos, but most Hispanics and Spanish-speaking countries do when they go to Brazil is they speak Portunhol, where they have a basic understanding of Portuguese, and then they speak the rest of it in Spanish, Portunhol.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what a lot of people speak out there, like Spanish-speaking folk.
Being a single man now, you're traveling, and it sounds like you went with a couple of your guys. Did you was it challenging to find dates? And I know I guess you kind of pre-gamed, if you will, because you have met some, you had some ladies on TikTok. But I'm sure outside of that, with you being boots on the ground, you met some ladies outside of TikTok, right? So my question to you, long story short, is, was it a challenge for you to meet Brazilian women, and do you think that they were receptive towards you?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. This is a very tricky question, man, because I'm gonna be honest, and I made a video about this, and sure. As much as I love Brazilian women, like, I love them with all my heart, right? But I feel like this is a huge misconception about Brazil. People think that they can go to Brazil and these girls are gonna have the red carpet rolled out for you, that they're gonna bend over backwards for you, that they're like, oh my God, American, like, and some girls are like that. Don't get me wrong, you will meet girls like that. Oh my God, American, but you're not. I feel like in a place like Rio and Sao Paulo, where there's going to be more Americans there, some of these girls are used to seeing Americans. You know what I mean? So the wow factor isn't really there as much. Like, you still get that, but it's not as crazy. But that's the main thing, man, is learning the language. Like, you can go up to chick. I went to a couple of chicks in Brazil, and I didn't know much Portuguese, and it was like I was struggling to communicate with them because they didn't know any English. They understood a little bit of Spanish. I didn't really know how to speak Portuguese, so I struggled a little bit to talk to some of them. Some of them I succeeded. So and that's the thing, man, is every single state in Brazil have their different accents. I can understand a carioca, which, for those of you who don't know, cariocas are basically people from Rio. Paulistas are people from Sao Paulo, and then every other state has like a name, right? So I understood the carioca accent because I felt like it was very over exaggerated. It sounded cool. I like the way carioca speak, so I understood them. So if I was talking to a carioca chick, I'd be able to talk to her. I would have a whole full blown conversation. Like, sometimes I'd be confused with what they're saying. I would tell them, "Oh, can you repeat yourself?" And they would repeat themselves slowly, and we would talk. But Sao Paulo, I felt like I had more of a problem understanding them because it's to the point. Like, when they speak, it's to the point. Cariocas kind of take their time with it. They over exaggerate their words. So to answer the question, man, I felt like it was a little bit of both. Like, you can get success out there, but the thing is, you have to speak the language. If you don't speak the language, you might struggle a little bit. So do your homework before you go over there. It leads me back to the first question you asked. Like, do your homework, and try to go over there with a basic understanding of Portuguese. And if you're a Spanish speaker, you might have a bigger advantage over someone that doesn't speak Spanish, just because you're able to speak to them in Spanish and they can somewhat understand you. So you're able to meet more people that way, but it's still a little bit difficult because of the language barrier.
I got you. I got you. No, that's really good to know. That's really good to know.
Yeah, do your homework, guys.
Yeah. And so, would you say that the women out there are they kind of shy and kind of wait for you to talk to them, or do they come up and approach you? Look at your
See, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying about Brazil is that
you should have shown your face as I'm asking you, though.
Nah, man, that's the thing about Brazil is that like
Yeah.
the language barrier is a pain in the ass, right? So like, so to answer your question, they're not shy. Brazilian women are some of the most social women I've ever met in my life. Like, I'm not saying I'm all that, right? I'm not gonna sit over here and lie to you. I'm all that, you know, I'm fucking Neymar, I'm this, that. No, I'm not all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I was over there walking in Copacabana, like literally, guys, if you are in Rio de Janeiro, you don't gotta go to no club to meet chicks. You don't gotta go nowhere crazy to meet chicks. You could do it for free 99. Just go to Copacabana Beach, Ipanema, especially Copacabana, because I feel like Copacabana is where all the shit happens, right? You go to Copacabana Beach, you walk down, you'll get hell of stairs, man. Hella stairs. These girls do not get like this girl broke her neck looking at me. And I told my boy, is she looking at me or is she looking at something? Like, I'm not all that. Why is she looking at me like that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how it be. These girls be breaking neck. Sometimes they'll approach you. I've had a couple girls approach me while I was at a bar in the beach. They would approach me and be, hey, like they'll be speaking to me in Portuguese. I wouldn't really understand them. So that's the thing is these girls aren't shy, but once they do open their mouths and speak to you, you may or may not be able to understand them depending on your understanding of Portuguese. So that's the problem is the language barrier. But these girls are fun. They're some of the most sweethearted people you'll ever meet. Like some of the most amazing people, women I've ever met in my life were from Brazil. Brazilian women, like their energy is unmatched, man. Unmatched. I've been to Italy. I've been to France. I've been to Spain. Y'all know I love Spain. You know, I've DR, but no woman. I've dated a Russian woman, by the way. So I have been around a lot of Russian women, Ukrainian women. All right. But no woman can match the energy of a Brazilian woman, man. I think that's what makes them so damn special. And then on top of that, their beauty is just ridiculous. You know what I mean? You got girls that are I saw some of the most beautiful black women I've ever seen in my life in Brazil. You have gingers, blondes, curly haired girls, straight haired girl, any type of girl you want, you can see in Brazil. And there's some of the most social, down to earth women. Like some of these girls don't realize how beautiful they are. You know what I mean? You'll talk to them. I was talking to this one girl that I brought over to the crib, to the apartment in Sao Paulo. And I told her straight the fuck up. I couldn't hold it. I'm like, girl, you're beautiful. And she was like, what? Me? I'm beautiful. I'm like, yeah, you're beautiful. Like some of these girls don't understand their own worth. And that's because they're surrounded by other beautiful women that are just as beautiful as them or maybe more beautiful. So because of that, they don't feel like anything special. But if you took that girl and you put her over here in the tri-state area, she would stick out.
Right. No, and just to kind of piggyback off of what you said, it's like I know that you're gonna be going to Colombia soon, and we'll kind of talk about that. But I just want to say this. It's like that in Colombia as well, and I know Andre in the chat, you can also attest to this, where there's so many beautiful women, and like they think that they're okay, but they think that they may be a 5 or a 6, and you like, girl, you like 8.5, 9.
Yo, for
like,
real?
Like you bad for real. But as you mentioned, there's so many other beautiful women there. So, like, there's so many women that are congregated around, like, you know, the area where you'll see, like, let's say you're in a room full of, let's say, 100 women, right? You know, a good 80 to 85% of them are like 7 and above. Mm-hmm. Right. So if the woman thinks like she's, you know, like a 7 or 7.5, and she's around all of these other 7s and, you know, 8s and a couple of 9s or whatever, she's like, I'm okay. Right. You know, and then when you take her, you put her in the tri-state. Yeah, man, listen, man, her DMs is gonna be flooded. With summertime, dudes is pulling up. They get out the car, everything.
But like I said, I feel like
Yeah.
the looks is one thing. There's a lot of beautiful women anywhere in the world, but to me, the main
Sure.
selling point for Brazilian women was the energy, the attitude, the way they treat you, the way like how fun they are. Like when you talk to them, I have fun speaking to them. You know, I forgot what it is to have a fun conversation with a woman. You know what I mean? I know a lot of brothers are like, nah, who cares about conversations? It goes straight to the sheets. But sometimes, like, you obviously, I want to meet this girl. I want to know what she about before I bring her over. I ain't trying to bring no random girl over, especially in a foreign country. So I'll be talking to them, and I forgot how much fun it is to talk to a woman, to go on a date, have fun, just talking about anything. You know what I mean? That's how Brazilian women are. They're so much fun. They're very affectionate. They want to kiss. They want to hold hands. They want to do fun things. I think that's the main selling point with Brazilian women is their energy and attitude.
Right. Now, I'm not sure if you answered this question, so pardon me if you did.
Nah, you good, bro.
But did I asked you if they have they like approached you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they have approached you. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, definitely having a great conversation, and at least for me, right? Because like I'll be 40 in February, and when I was in my early 20s, you know, of course I was ready to get into action, but now like I like to put some seasoning on that thing and let that thing marinate. So I like what you were saying, where like you are actually having a good conversation. You're engaged in a great conversation, great energy, right? Because that's important, right? Because anybody could just, you know, get right to it, right? But like the older I get, like the more, you know, the more I appreciate the conversation. And it's good to hear that you saying that, like having a genuine, refreshing conversation with a woman, and a Brazilian woman for that matter, and they have good energy and they're upbeat, you know, that's extremely important, man. So that's good to know.
And I guess one final point before we get to the chat and all that, but
go ahead, man.
This is one thing that I experienced in Brazil. I don't know if any other brothers in the chat experienced the same thing. Maybe it just might be me. But when I went to Brazil, you know, like how like the dating is over here, where it kind of makes you a little cold-hearted. Like you're just like you don't want to like be talking to too many people. You want to like you're very like whatchamacallit. Yeah, like it's kind of like you don't look forward to shit. You're like, whatever, like let's just get it. You know, I just want to smash or, you know, clap cheeks and get it done with. You know, that's the attitude that a lot of brothers have here, man, because just the dating here is just so toxic and terrible. I'm not gonna lie. But when I went over to Brazil, I felt like I was back in middle school. Like, you know that feeling when you get butterflies, or you're like, oh my god, like I haven't felt this shit in a minute. Like a chick is actually cool. I'm having a good conversation where I could be myself. I don't gotta play no games. I don't gotta wait 2 hours to text her back. You know, like these dating coaches be like, oh, you gotta wait 2 hours to text her back. All these fucking strategies and shit to fucking talk to a chick. You know what I mean? Over there in Brazil, you could throw that outside the window. Now you still need game in Brazil, but you don't gotta be as, you know, I wouldn't say manipulative, but all those dating strategies you use in America, you don't really got to do in Brazil like that. These girls were like, the girls that I was talking to was hitting me up ASAP. I'll be texting them, and then I would forget to tell them something, and I would double text them like a couple seconds later, and as I'm texting them, they're already texting me. You know what I mean? It would say typing in WhatsApp. I'm like, girl, I just sent the messages like 2 seconds ago. Holy shit, like these girls are quick with it. You know what I mean? They're not afraid to show interest. So I feel like after some time, I felt like I was defrosting, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
No,
like
it makes a lot of sense, right? Like, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because excuse me, one of the things, and shout out to 𝐶𝐨𝐽. I think 𝐶𝐨𝐽 is in Brazil right now too, as a matter of fact.
Have fun out there, brother.
Yeah, so 𝐶𝐨𝐽 is a Medi guy, and he's also a Brazil guy. Shout out to my man 𝐶𝐨𝐽. So sorry, excuse me. But what you have mentioned, right? Like when the woman who texts you back and they're showing that they're receptive, right? And it's not this kind of chess game that you got to kind of play, right? Where it's like, okay, like, because whoever shows the most interest is going to be the one who loses, right? You know, it's kind of like a game of chicken, so to speak, right? Because you know, you looking at the phone, she probably looking at the phone. I'm not gonna hit him up. I'm not gonna
That's
hit him
how it
up.
be,
You
man.
know,
I hate
it
that
is,
shit.
yeah.
You
So it's
know?
like, yeah. So it's like when you get outside of when you get outside of the gates of the United States and all that bullshit, you don't have to deal with that. You know, because if a girl likes you, she's gonna text you, right? And that's just that. Like she's not gonna wait. Or I'm gonna wait like a few hours or a couple of days. You know, when you guys exchange numbers, and it's like, man, like I gave old girl my number like 2 days ago. She still ain't hit me. What's up with that? And then she hits
Yeah.
you like 3 days, like 3-4 days later. Hey, what's up? You like, nah, dog. When a woman outside of the United States, when you guys exchange numbers, she's messaging you right away. Let me get to this super chat really, really quick. Let's see here. So Dre says, as he was talking, I was thinking Colombian women are the same. They were raised around much beauty. They don't see it. Plus, they are very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely, man, absolutely. The one difference that I will say is that when you have mentioned how like the Brazilian women will like actually come speak to you,
Yeah.
in Colombia they don't do that though. But what they do is they stare you down. Like they stare you down. So like it's like I want you to come. Please come talk to me.
Man, no, Brazilian women are different, man. I had a girl. I went to the bathroom in Rio. Well, let me. So there's bathrooms in Copacabana, right?
Yeah.
Off of the bars. So I went downstairs. It's in the basement, and you have to pay like what 50 cents, 25 cents to go into the bathroom. And there was a chick right there in line waiting to go to the bathroom, and she just started talking to me in the bathroom.
You have to pay every time to use the bathroom?
Yeah, you have to pay like in Copacabana or just the beach in general, that strip, Copacabana, all that. When you go downstairs to the basement, you have to pay to use the restroom. It's like 25, 50 cents, I believe.
Okay.
So that's another culture shock that a lot. And Turkey's the same way, by the way. Turkey, you have to pay to go to use the bathrooms over there too.
Oh man.
So this isn't just something exclusive to Brazil. But when I was down in the bathroom at all places, there was this one chick. She was a little older than me. She was like at least in her late 30s, but still very cute. Blonde hair, cute. I think she was with her mom. And in front of her mom, she just started having a full-blown conversation with me about life, where I'm from. She thought I was cute, this, that. And I'm like, fam, your mom is right there. You know, I felt a little uncomfortable about it. But I was like, all right, if her mom's cool with it, fuck it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I started talking to her myself, but that's how easy it is to talk to females down over there. You know what I mean? These girls are some of the most aggressive, but in a good way, aggressive females I've ever come across, man. If they like you, if they really like you, they will approach. Not all the time, but you will get girls that will approach you. I've never experienced that in any other country.
Yeah, no, so that's the difference where in Colombia you won't get the approach unless she kind of she looking for that bag. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but like a regular beautiful woman, like she's just gonna stare you down though. She's gonna stare you down, and then you come talk to her,